Well, here we are with our 500 subscribers special. That's just crazy to think about, that I'm at 500 subscribers. I just want to thank you all so much for helping me reach this goal. It's been something that I've always wanted to reach, and I'm just so thankful to all of you for helping me get to that goal. And I look forward to many more hundreds of subscribers in the future. And before we actually get into today's video, I want to give a shout out to Tobster and Friends. Not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but I told them I would give them a shout out in my 500 subscriber special. So shout out to them. Go be sure to subscribe, because I am sure that they would love more subscribers. Alright, now to get into the video itself. As you could probably tell by both the title and what you are seeing, it is going to be a FNAF game tier list. Now, just to get things out of the way, I know I don't have every single FNAF game on here, like FNAF World or FNAF AR or any other like kind of weirder ones. I have never played any of those, and I don't really think that they kind of fit within the main FNAF game line. They're kind of like their own supporting group of games, so I didn't think I should include them on this list. So it's just going to be the main FNAF games. The first four: Sister Location, Pizza Sim, you know, the whole bunch. Alright, let's just get into this. So, as you can see, we have an S through D tier. I didn't think that we would have enough games to put a full through F, so we're only going to D. And I'm only grading these on my personal experiences and what I think about the games, rather than an objective how they play, how they whatever. It's all just sort of my personal opinion on the game. So let's just start in getting right into this. I know I've said that like 1,000 times in this video, but you know, that's okay. So, FNAF 1. This one is a hard one. I wasn't sure where I wanted to put this, but I think it has to go S tier. Only because it is such an iconic game, and it was the first one to come out. So it created every game after. So it has to be S tier, just because of how nostalgic and iconic and classic it is. So that's the main reason it's getting S tier. The only reason I wouldn't have given it S tier is because the gameplay compared to all the other games, most of the other games, is relatively shallow, but it's still a super enjoyable game and definitely deserves its S tier ranking. Alright, now this one might be a bit of a controversial one, but I'm putting FNAF 2 in the A tier. Now, the gameplay is very simplistic and very easy to follow with very few mechanics. However, this was the first FNAF game I ever played, so I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. I remember when it came out, me and my friends would just hang out at school playing this game during lunch, trying to see how far we can get. Can we get through night 5? Well, this is pretty crazy, stuff like that. So it's an absolute nostalgic game for me, which is why I'm putting it in the A tier. Alright, next up is FNAF 3. Now, I have to give this B tier. I know we're kind of like going in order here, but I like this game because I think it's pretty fun, and talking to Springtrap throughout the games, because I like to talk to the characters. So talking to Springtrap is pretty fun. But the gameplay, I think, is even easier than FNAF 2. Aside from like night 5 and 6, I rarely had a time where I lost Springtrap. Like, I'm pretty sure I made it through the first 4 nights of the game without ever getting jump scared by Springtrap. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I got through the first 4 nights without him jump scaring me. So the gameplay is pretty shallow, because I would just be able to keep him locked in camera 10 all the way up in the far corner, and he couldn't go anywhere. So relatively boring gameplay, but it's got Springtrap, and I just still love it anyway. So that's why it's going B tier. Now, FNAF 4, I have to give S tier because it is my favorite FNAF game. I love the style, I love the looks, I love the gameplay, I love almost every single thing about this. It introduced Fredbear, so super cool game. I love it. Definitely my favorite out of all of them. And to me, it just felt like the most real and creepy because it takes place in a bedroom in a house. So it's super creepy and definitely gives off that like, oh, I'm, you know, alone in a dark house kind of feel. And that's definitely where I think FNAF thrives. So absolutely S tier. Sister Location. Now, if you watched my video that came out yesterday all about this game, you'll know how I tend to feel about this. I love the first 3 nights of the game. I hate the last 2 nights of the game. Nights 4 and 5 suck and bring the game down completely. However, I'm still going to give this game a B tier because I actually really do love this game. I just can't put it any higher because of how much of a disappointment the last 2 nights are. I'm not going to get into too much about it because I already made a whole video on it, but that's sort of just the gist of it. Pizzeria Simulator. Now, I've never really talked about this game all that much, even when I played through it. I made a couple remarks about how I thought of the game, but I never really talked about it all that much. I really don't like this game. I'm giving it D tier. I think the Pizza Simulator section is pretty fun. I think that the salvage section is pretty cool as well. It's actually pretty creepy. One of the creepiest things in all of FNAF. But the gameplay itself in an average night is absolutely dreadful. The tasks that you do aren't horrible, but there's nothing really unique. It's just waiting for a button to load and just kind of sitting there. You never see the animatronics in a night. You only hear them. The only time you actually see them is if you get jump scared. And it's just a relatively boring looking office, and just everything about the actual night segment really brings the whole game down, and it really just sucks. So I really don't like Pizza Sim. I think it's the worst game in the series, and it has some of the wackiest looking character designs. I already made a video on Scrap Trap, but like Scrap Baby, don't even know what's going on there. And Molten Freddy kind of looks cool. I like the head, but everything else kind of sucks. So definitely not a good game in my opinion. Help Wanted is getting an S tier. I love this game. It's probably like my second or third favorite FNAF game because one, it's VR, and I love playing FNAF in VR. If you've seen those, my Help Wanted and my Help Wanted 2 playthroughs so far, you definitely know that I love VR FNAF. It's scary, it's cool, and I love it. And the fact that Help Wanted 1 definitely plays off of the older games and translates them into VR definitely gives it another edge there. That's why I'm giving it S tier. Security Breach is getting an A tier rating. This game is a buggy disaster of a game, but that's why I love it. It is definitely up there in my top 3 favorite FNAF games, and I just love this game. It was the game that definitely brought me back into FNAF. I bought it relatively soon after it came out, and even though it was a buggy mess, I still love it. It's definitely one of my favorites. And it introduced a lot of cool characters. I mean, come on, we all love Freddy. Freddy in this game's awesome. He's a cool looking dude. Vanny, while not being in the game like at all, is still a cool character, I think, and just heavily underutilized. But I just love this game and definitely think that, in my opinion, it gets an A tier. But I definitely understand people who hate this game because it is a mess. Alright, next up, I'm pretty sure, is Security Breach Ruin. I think this is the next game that came out, from what I can tell. You know, I'm not well versed in all of this, but I'm pretty sure Ruin is the next one after Security Breach. I definitely am going to give this an A tier. They do a great job at bringing up the aesthetics and really making Security Breach itself actually a lot more scary. And it just, I don't know, I just love this game as well. I think its linear story definitely works. Although while not necessarily being my favorite, I can still clearly see why people would consider it one of their favorites. And I think it deserves an A tier, just for everything that it introduces into the series. Help Wanted 2 is going to be getting a B tier rating. Now, for all my praise with Help Wanted 1 being VR, you would think that Help Wanted 2 would also be pretty high up on the list. And I guess it kind of is, it's in the middle. But it just doesn't quite do as well as the first one. It doesn't feel as cohesive. The minigames are all over the place. And while being VR, I don't know, just something about it, like, the VR is good, but other than that, it just kind of feels like a hodgepodge of a game and doesn't really live up to Help Wanted 1's massive standard that it set. Now, you might be thinking, well, Ryan, where is Ultimate Custom Night? Why isn't this on your list? Now, I'm not putting Ultimate Custom Night on here because it's literally just exactly how it sounds. It's a big custom night game. One, I've never played through the whole thing. I played it once. Two, it is just a big custom night, and while introducing new mechanics and stories and stuff like that, I just think it's not quite on the same level as the other FNAF games, and that's why it's not on my tier list. I can understand why other people would put it on their tier list, because technically it does fit in within the main FNAF games, but it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of actual substance there, at least in my opinion. And I've not played through the whole thing, so I can't put it on the list if I've never played it. Well, I know this isn't necessarily like the most in-depth tier list video, but I just thought it would be a good way to sort of get you guys to know what I think about all the FNAF games. Because I don't really talk about them all that much. I play them, but I don't really talk about how I think about them. So this definitely, hopefully, will help you guys sort of get a better understanding of what I think about all these games. And how I think all of them are relatively good, except for Pizzeria Simulator, because that gameplay is awful. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you all again so much for 500 subscribers. That's just crazy. I thank all of you, and I look forward to getting more and more subscribers in the future. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know there's not really much that goes on in this, but you know, it's still fun. And let me know what your favorite FNAF game is in the comments below. See you next time.